Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Rooted in Ag podcast, episode 13. We're moving right along. We're almost at the big 15 mark, Madison. How are you?
Good. I'm excited to be back after so many delays off of school, from snow, from weather, from flooding. It's great to just be back in the zone of getting the word of agriculture back out there.
You got sick, then my family got sick, and it was just, it's been a mess.
It has been.
Busy season. But we're trying. But no, we still have a few more questions left from that poll we did, July maybe?
Yeah.
August?
Yeah.
We had so many sent in. We might need to launch a new one soon just to get some fresh questions. But I'll go ahead and let you ask that, and then we can get to our guest.
Yeah, so what is one surprising fact about modern agriculture that most people don't know?
You want to take that on first?
Sure. So I think one of the most crazy things that people hear a lot is that we're going to have to continue to produce and grow more and more food. And the actual fact is that farmers will have to grow 70% more food than what is currently being produced to feed the world's growing population by 2050. That is not very far away. And, farmers are already living in such harsh conditions that we're going to have to really help them and step up our game to be able to have the fresh food that we have now.
I mean, I just did the math here. But that means by the time that, if you're 18 right now listening, by the time you're 43, we'll have to be producing that much, which, that's crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah. Almost, yeah. That's one of my favorite statistics. But mine is probably going to be, so we were doing presentations with elementary school kids, and so, we were throwing numbers at them and stuff. And there are 69,425 farms in Kentucky. Would you like to guess how many of those are family owned, percentage-wise?
I'd probably butcher it.
Okay, I won't let you embarrass yourself. It's probably higher than you think. It's 98.5% are family owned. Wow. Yeah. That's just something people don't realize anymore. You hear factory farming, you hear all this, and that number actually stays pretty high up nationally. I don't know why I know these facts. I did not look this up before. 96% nationally. So just a little bit of a drop down, but it's still a lot higher than I would have ever anticipated just because of, everything that we hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. But moving right along, we got our little question out of the way. It's time to introduce our guest, long-awaited guest. We've delayed this episode a few times because of sickness and life and everything else, but we're finally super excited to have her on. She is the current Kentucky 4-H state president. She is the Capital City Region FFA president, and so much more that I'm forgetting. We went to Eiffel together.
She's a great person.
Friend.
We love her.
We love her. Miss Callie Derossett, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you guys for such a kind welcome, and I'm really glad that I can finally get on. I'm doing good, trying to stay warm, dry, and caught up on schoolwork, as I'm sure we all are with busy life and
That's
just
relatable.
The weather. Oh, yeah.
100%. So I don't even know where to start because...
Me neither.
So we had Molly on. She was state 4-H president or region president last year. Now we have you on. So we'll just start out with an easy question. Obviously your term is not done yet, but what's been your highlight of your 4-H tenure so far as state president?
The whole experience. Oh, okay. So just this year.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there has been a lot, but specifically recently, this weekend, I did get to meet the new U.S. Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins. And so that's probably not only a highlight of my 4-H career, but definitely my just experience being an agriculturalist. I think that it's not only exciting that she came to the Commonwealth, but I think it's exciting that she came to the Commonwealth as her first stop being appointed. So I am so excited to see where this continues to take Kentucky agriculture, but also just that we have that strong relationship with individuals like that.
yeah, I mean, from everything I've seen, her and Shell seem to be pretty tight. I don't know though. I mean,
Yes.
he was holding her hand and everything, and
I
they seem
actually,
tight.
yeah, I made the comment that they act like best friends.
I love it. Um, Interesting. Once she got appointed before her nomination, Shell called her. And it was one on one. KDA was really trying. This is coming from Warren Beeler, by the way, guys. That's my source. Was really trying to get to the bottom of her, see what she's about. Shell loved her, and he started a petition with all Republican commissioner of agricultures in the country. He started a petition, and they sent it to the Senate to confirm her. I don't know, how well it did, or I don't know any of that stuff, but that's just what
Hmm.
Warren Beeler said a few weeks ago at the Kentucky Pork Producers annual meeting. And I was just like,
Yeah.
that's really cool. And I love that Shell was taking that initiative
Uh-huh.
and really, I don't know. It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
So to sort of highlight like your journey from the beginning, for those of you that don't know, 4-H state office is while you're still in high school, and then FFA state office is after high school. So Callie has to balance high school and senior year and a social life with 4-H and agriculture. So sort of talk about like that work-life balance almost, and then, and this is a very much loaded question, sort of like when you were elected, the feelings and how that process went.
Yeah, I'll answer the latter part of that question first. So you can be a state 4-H officer while you're in college too. A lot of people do opt to do it their senior year of high school. But right after slating, you go home and you're kind of with your family for a little bit, and then it's released on social media at 6 p.m. that night. So that whole day after your final round of interviews, you head home and you're completely ate up with nerves. You're extremely nervous for the rest of the day. And then you sit down, you watch the Facebook Live. And I remember by the time that they had gotten to announcing, and my best friend Kaylin Stokes was the one announcing this. And so she couldn't tell me the whole day. And so that just adds to the nerves, and everyone else is watching. But by the time they got to announcing secretary, I had an absolute breakdown. I just knew I hadn't gotten state office yet. I'd worked since I was 9 years old for this, and I just hadn't gotten it. And then Kaylin made the comment that this individual's experience with the Fashion Leadership Board, which is a state board that I was on, and showing livestock just allowed them to take on this role. And so right then when she said that, I just knew that I had accomplished this great goal of mine that I've had. And it was, not only was it a weight off my shoulders of feeling those nerves for a whole 48 hours, but I was so excited to serve the organization that I'd been in since I was 9 years old. And then it was off to the races after that. But and to answer I'm sorry, what was the rest of the question? That there was a loaded question.
Let's see. Honestly, maybe I shouldn't load so much on because now I'm forgetting too.
Play back the recording. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so I asked you, your feelings getting elected. Oh, and then like the work-life balance. How do you handle
Yes,
that?
that's what it was.
Yeah. Sorry.
That is a good question, and maybe I didn't want to answer it because sometimes it can get difficult. But I'll be completely honest, it does get hard sometimes because I'm also a senior in high school, and so there's a lot of laughs that we're seeing as seniors. I know you guys see all that. It's your last home basketball game. It's your last homecoming, and so you want to be there for all of that stuff. But I also have to think back that I've been doing this since I was 9 years old, and I've poured a lot of work and effort into this since I was in elementary school and middle school, and now as I'm wrapping up my high school career, I can't just quit now. And if it weren't something that I truly enjoyed, the answer might be different, but I love being able to do what I do. I love being able to serve the youth of Kentucky 4-H, and just getting to wear this green jacket. I only get to wear it for a year as a state officer, and so just being able to take all those opportunities while I can, I think it's completely 100% valuable, not only now, but I'll look forward and thank myself for it when I'm in my career. Balancing school does get a little hard because a lot of my events are during the day. I'll be the first to tell you that I'm not afraid to have an excused absence. I've had 45 this year, so I know that's crazy. But I have a really good relationship with a lot of my teachers, and especially coming from a rural community. So I'm very thankful for the experience that I'm getting to have, and the way that I get to have it.
I feel that excused absence. I might not have as many as you, but I'm notoriously called a part-time student at Barron County High School.
Oh, yes.
Yes, big time. And I loved your Instagram caption. I remember it like after the first semester. I don't know why I remember it, but I remember you're like so many excused absences later. I thought that was hilarious.
Yes. Thank you.
But no, you mentioned the green jacket. Obviously, only officers can wear it. When was the moment you realized in your 4-H journey you wanted to wear the green jacket?
This is one of my favorite questions, especially we're gearing up for this event right now. So there's an event in Kentucky 4-H. It's Summit, and it's for middle schoolers, so 6th through 8th graders can go. And I'd always grown up showing livestock, so I like to say I grew up on the green shaving, seeing the green jackets. So I always knew that they were the state officers. I knew a lot of them by name when I was really young, but other than standing in the ring handing out ribbons, I didn't really know what they did. So at Summit, I got to see them in action. I got to see our state team council working for the better good of our organization. And so by the first night of Summit, I ran up to my extension agent and I said, I want to be in that green jacket and I want to be on state team council. And so from then on out, we knew what we needed to do and we knew what my goals were at that point. And so we took it and ran with it. And here I am.
I love it. And so we've asked 3 other people this question, so I have to ask you this. This is kind of going along with the green shavings thing. We asked Trenton, Caroline, and Molly this. How was the moment when you walked into the state fair board meeting? Take us through what happened. Like, you're seeing all these people because, the 4-H state president and the FFA state president both serve on the board. I'm assuming definitely the youngest people in the room. Walk us through all that. And, everybody has different answers, so I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
The Kentucky State Fair Board has been one of my favorite experiences I've gotten to encounter in my year in the green jacket. I love just being able to see the backside of the inner workings of the Kentucky State Fair, but not only the State Fair, the North American, the National Farm Machinery Show, which just wrapped up, and everything that's hosted on site at not only that location, but there's another location downtown, and being able to hear everything from the history of these events, the financials, which may get a little boring, but I definitely think it's interesting to know and interesting to hear sometimes. But I was definitely overwhelmed when I walked into that meeting for the first time. I mean, these are all really important people, not only within Kentucky agriculture, but within Kentucky in general. So, I mean, by the time that you've seen all these people interact with each other and you're asked to give your update about your organization, you're a little nervous about what you're going to say, but once you get done with that report, you just feel like you feel accomplished. I'm not going to lie, but you feel grateful that these individuals want to hear what's going on within your organization for 4-H and FFA, because the Fair Board is an agriculturally based board and they want to be using the fairgrounds for agricultural events, which I am forever grateful for. But I love my time on the Kentucky State Fair Board, and I'm going to be sad to see it go, but very great people to be able to sit with and be at the table with.
I love that. So before I sort of steer back to your youth and how you got your start, sort of tell me like your why. Why, you talked about like you wanting to do this because you went to that summit, but why? What does it give back to you? Like, what do you take out of these experiences? Why do you love 4-H?
Yeah, that's a good question. You're asking a lot of loaded questions today. No, I'm kidding. But my why will forever be to prove the future of agriculture, no matter if I'm doing anything in 4-H, if I'm doing anything in FFA, if I'm doing anything in any other organization. And that's always going to be my why. I think that I did grow up in 4-H, not specifically only showing livestock. I did sewing, I did cooking, I did photography, but in the other core program areas. But I'm always going to want to search for reasons and ways to improve the ag industry, and specifically our youth that are going to continue to give back to the industry and the organizations that have lifted them up.
Yeah, I love that. And speaking of the cooking classes, the 4-H cooking classes were my absolute favorite. I looked forward to them so much.
So fun.
after cooking classes, started getting into the speeches and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, 4-H is really a great organization. So take us back to your youth. Like, where did you get your start? Did you grow up on a farm? And then sort of like agriculture in middle school if you had it, and then in high
Mhm.
school.
Yeah. So when I start telling this story, I basically start at my dad because my dad grew up showing livestock, grew up on a dairy milking over 200 cows and row cropping. So by the time I came around, he knew that I was going to show livestock. And my mom was like, well, you got to make sure that she enjoys it too. And lucky for him, I did. I fell in love with it and I couldn't imagine being raised any other way. But in the state of Kentucky, you have to have 6 educational hours to be able to show livestock at the state level. So I was involved in livestock club to get those educational hours to be able to exhibit livestock. But I didn't just show livestock. I started with the cooking club, like we were talking about, and photography and art. My 4-H agent liked to say that I was at the extension office 5 days a week. I would get off the bus there from my elementary school and run right in and have a snack and start sewing. Um, but that's kind of where I grew up was in 4-H, and I knew that I was going to be an FFA by the time I got into high school. My middle school didn't have an ag program when I was there. They do now. Thank goodness. It's been a great feeder program for our high school FFA, which I'm very grateful for. But I still showed livestock in middle school. I was very involved in 4-H when I was in middle school. I had this little goals notebook, and so in middle school I had like my little section of what I wanted to do. I wanted to get like my Clover level 3 achievement, so I could mark that off, and then I wanted to be on a state board and I could mark that off, and that carried me up into high school. And I got a little bit more busy by the time I got into high school, balancing 4-H, FFA, and of course just being a kid, which is still important, especially when you're in leadership roles, that you don't get burnout, just being able to have some fun. But that's where I am today.
I was having trouble pushing the unmute button. I'm sorry. Um, tell us about your experiences showing. It's one of the few things I've never done. My mom showed dairy. Um, we all know Madison didn't show or doesn't show. But no, tell us a little bit about that. Any misconceptions? Anything? Air it out. Let us know.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate to grow up the way that I've grown up. I like to say I grew up in the show barn, and so I grew up with a new mentor to find, a new lesson to learn every single day. And it definitely, the biggest lesson that I learned was responsibility. I mean, you're in charge of them. You're in charge of the well-being of a living creature. And so, and especially if you want to be successful in the show ring, I've been very fortunate to be able to show at the national level. I mainly show sheep or goats and cattle. I don't show sheep anymore. But I have been able to be in the grand drive at our Kentucky State Fair 3 times now, which I'm very grateful for, with a steer. I've shown at the American Royal in Kansas City, and then of course North American, which is in Louisville, and then I've also gone to some junior nationals, which are national shows for some breed associations. So very grateful that I've gotten to meet a lot of people along the way that have the same passion as me. Yeah.
That's awesome. Switching organizations here for a second. You and I both serve on the Kentucky Junior Cattlemen's Association board.
Yes, sir.
This is my first steer. Is this your first steer? It is?
No, I was on.
No? Oh,
No,
okay.
it's
No,
not.
yeah, no. So, so I'm still new. We haven't met yet. We're having our meeting soon. But walk us through,
Yes.
What you've done through that organization too, because you went to Nebraska like Madison and I did, right? Last year?
Yes.
Yes. And
Yes,
so
last year.
everything, Beef Council, KJCA, let's hear it.
Yes, I'm a huge fan. Eat beef. I'll put that plug in there any chance I get. But I've shown at the Fall Classic, which is the biggest KJCA event that we put on all year, and I've always known a lot of people involved in that organization, and so I went to Nebraska. I've done the summer trip. I'm in the Auburn Vet Mentorship Program. I've done about everything other than cattle working is what I think I've figured out at this point. But I served as a board of director last year. This year I'm serving as the reporter, and I'm really excited just for this board in general to see what we can get done. Last year was a great year for us. We had the most participants that we've had at Fall Classic, and we had a great KCA convention this year. So I'm really excited to see what we can accomplish together for the beef industry as a whole.
Oh yeah, I mean the team, it's stacked. I feel like we got the
It
best of the
is.
best. I don't know how I made it on the board, to be honest, with all the people that are on it. I feel out of place. But
No.
no, going to Nebraska now, because I just got to know.
Love.
So for everybody that doesn't know, part of the Nebraska thing is there's a cooking competition. You probably see where I'm going with this.
Yes.
Tell us about your. We all three can go through real quick because Madison and I haven't had a chance to really talk about the Nebraska trip. Tell us, your cut, and then what y'all made and how you did. I need to know.
Okay, so at the Nebraska Beef Leadership Symposium, it is a mouthful to say, abbreviated as NYBLS. My group chose ground beef, which is like the most boring cut that you can get, but it's easier to play it on the safe side sometimes. But I remember in my group's first little brainstorming session, we had some pretty like off the wall ideas, and then all of a sudden someone said, wait, let me look this up real quick because I always call it the wrong thing. Okay, so it's called a Scotch egg. I always call it Dutch eggs, but they're Scotch eggs, and it's like a hard-boiled egg wrapped in ground beef and deep fried.
Oh,
I'd never heard of it, but a guy on my team said that his family like has them for breakfast. Yeah. So we ended up like seasoning our ground beef to taste like sausage. Yeah, because it's originally sausage, and we seasoned our ground beef to taste like sausage and deep fried it, and we kind of plated it as like a little charcuterie board with like some almonds and some like greens. I wouldn't say it was executed the way that we thought it was gonna be. Yeah, but it was a good time. It was a lot of fun just to be in the kitchen, especially with your team that you get to know over just those short 3 days.
Were you the
What
only
did you
Kentucky
guys
gal?
make?
Were you the only Kentucky
Yes,
gal? Yeah.
I was.
Madison, you want to share yours? We'll save mine for last.
Yeah. Well, last is normally the best, but that's fine. So I was not the only Kentucky girl in my group. I also had Hallie Hudnall in my group. What a blessing in disguise. She kept me sane because she was like, let's have fun with it. And I was like, oh, let's have a plan. Like, let's be organized. Let's win. So I loved having her in my group. We got ground beef as well because it was just universal. You know, you can do anything with it. If all else fails, it cooks fast. Like, you can make something up with it. So at first we were like, let's do like a tater tot casserole, something like that. And then one of the girls, I think she was from Nebraska, she was like, let's do something with cornbread. Like, all of these people love cornbread. And I was like, yeah, sure. So we started brainstorming stuff, and we came up with a cowboy cupcake. So what we did was we made like a cowboy caviar. So it has like ground beef with taco seasoning, tomatoes, corn, beans. I mean, it was sort of like a paste, like almost like a dip. And we got muffin tins, and we layered the bottom of the muffin tin with cornbread, and then a little bit of the filling, and then a cornbread topping. So it was like a cornbread muffin with filling on the inside, and it was yummy. And we drizzled it with hot honey. It was so good. We didn't win the like actual competition, but we won the Bradenburgs and Rachel Kane competition. So that's all that matters.
That's all
They
that
won the
matters. Yeah.
They won the Bradenburgs for taste. Let me just clarify there.
And looks.
Not
It was very beautiful.
and looks, but not presentation. You know, you didn't have that it factor.
But overall,
Braden's words, not mine. Braden's words, not mine.
One other thing about my presentation was, so since it was eggs, it was like egg static for beef is like the way that we marketed this.
I like that.
I still have like all the canvas, but in the middle of our presentation, we stopped and did the chicken dance.
No,
Isn't that?
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's all I had to add.
So so first off, Madison said, last is usually best, but it wasn't. It was. My group won. I was the only Kentucky folk in mine, but we brought home the W. I had the cooking board right there. My whole team, we all signed them, and so we have each other's signatures. He's definitely not listening to this, but he's from Nebraska. Shout out Mason Yonda was his name.
You'll have
Crazy
to
name.
tag him. He would love the
Well,
shout out.
I'll have to shoot him a text. He doesn't have social media.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a real Nebraskan. But no, he said, what if we made sushi out of beef? And we were like, Mason, we're going to get somebody sick. Because we had sirloin. We had sirloin. And he's like, no. Hear me out. And he's like, what if we just like wrap it or something? And then, you know, everybody, we had some really smart girls in our group, I'm not going to lie. That me and Mason's ideas were like, really came to life because of them. And then our leaders, they were great too. I'll have to tag them all in this. But we made a thing called, what was it? Carne de rollo. Roll of meat, translated. And it was sushi. But what we did was we took the sushi rice. We used sushi rice, sorry. And then we marinated the sirloins in a lime marinade. So it was like a limey taste. And then we unseeded, deseeded, took out seeds, I don't know, out of the jalapeno. So they were spicy. So it gave that crunch, like the cucumber would. And then we put cream cheese. And I'm not going to lie, it was so good. And we put a chipotle drizzle over it. Oh, it was so good, man. And then we made little virgin margaritas for the judges too. And they ate those up. And they didn't know what it was. And I told them at the end after we won, I said, it was Mountain Dew with a hint of lime. And we just sugared the rims of the cups. And then we just put a Mountain Dew we found in the fridge and a lime.
That's crazy.
The chef said we could have it, so it was okay.
Okay. I was about to say, oh my
We didn't
gosh.
steal, no.
There was a lot of food in that fridge I don't know how old it was.
The Mountain Dews were good. They were still in the can. But our presentation, you can ask Madison, our presentation is what won it for us. It was okay. It was okay. We walked into, it's called Narco by Timmy Trumpet. It's like the, it was that. We walked into that. We had little sombreros on. Mm-hmm. It was just so great. And everybody could present in my group. It was just such a great team. And then we walked out to Jump Right In by the Zach Brown Band. And we were just all on top of the world. We were so excited we won. But that was our meal. And it didn't win the Braden Burke's taste competition. I think we got third in taste, but we got first in presentation. So, you know,
hey,
that's the part I worked on.
Winning over Braden is all that matters.
Okay.
I'll agree.
We don't want to make his ego too big, guys. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, Braden. I'm kidding. I saw Braden's mom today at school. It's her birthday. So, and his sister. They work like right beside each other. Their classrooms are. It's crazy.
Oh.
Yeah. So shout out Tristan. But no, Callie. I think that's all I have for you, Madison.
I think that's all my questions. Callie, do you have anything for us? Do you plug, like, this is your chance to give yourself a plug? Anything you want to talk about?
I hate having people I already know on because, like, I feel like I forget to ask stuff because I already know it. Yeah.
Oh. I can't think of anything that I want to say. We're all three going to be at UK next year, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay. I do have a question. So tell us about your future plans. Like, UK is so exciting.
Oh, yeah.
What are you going to UK for? Like, why do you want to be what you're going to be? Like, all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So next year I'll be attending the University of Kentucky, and I plan to major in animal science to be on the pre-vet track. So obviously I hope to pursue veterinary medicine as a career in my future. It's a long and hard path, but once again, I just want to give back to the ag industry and especially our producers here in the state of Kentucky. I know we're all very up to date on the issue facing the Commonwealth right now. So I hope to eventually one day be the solution to that issue and give back to our producers.
Do you plan to stay in Henry County, or do you want to go somewhere else in the state?
I don't know the answer to that question specifically, but definitely in Kentucky as far as I know right now.
Yeah. Where do you want to go to vet school at? Yeah.
Of course, we're in Kentucky, and so we have that really strong relationship with Auburn that I hope to see
That's
continue to stay strong. I'm in a mentorship program right now through KJCA and Auburn. So that's been a really great connections to be able to make, especially with their professors, but not only their professors, but youth like myself that are hoping to take this career path one day, so we can all hopefully be a support system for one another, because that's just as important as the schooling is at this point.
Yeah, well, God bless you. We all know the road to vet school is
Harsh.
tough.
Yeah.
Harsh. Harsh is a better word. I don't understand how Kentucky doesn't have a vet school, but what do I know? Hopefully we get one eventually. But yeah.
I just want to say that, Callie, I think that your dreams are big and they're wide, but they're much accomplishable because you prove to have valuable determination, and you're already halfway there. Like, that is so crazy to think. I was telling Matthew yesterday that we graduate in 3 months. Because we're almost halfway through February now.
14 Mondays or something like that.
Yes, it is so crazy.
It.
And you're already halfway there, and you've already accomplished halfway. I don't even know the word. You've already accomplished so much.
Well, thank you.
You're already halfway there. So just keep reaching for the stars, and you always have friends here.
You say that like you're 30 years older than her.
Sorry, I just feel so proud.
So wise.
I'm just so proud.
Wise beyond her years. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well, thank you guys. This has been great.
Thank you for getting on. We really appreciate it. I don't know if you realize this. You're the second ever high schooler we've had on the podcast.
Wow.
Since the first episode. Danny.
Was it Daniel?
It was Danny.
Wow.
Yeah.
We should get certificates for that.
Oh, that's funny.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, but yeah, thank you for getting on. I don't have anything else.
Thank you for having me.
Do either of y'all?
I'm good.
It's like that last call at church. I always feel like the preacher. All hearts clear. All hearts clear.
Yeah.
But no, thank you for getting on. And then to our listeners, we're trying to hit that 10 episode goal before summer. We're locking in now. Don't worry. Big things are coming that we can't talk about yet. But it's FFA week.
I'm so excited for you to find out.
It's FFA week. There's your hint. But no, we're super excited. And Callie, thank you for getting on again. And our listeners, thank you for the support. And we'll keep working for y'all. And we hope y'all stay safe during these winter storms that are coming up. Stay warm. Thank y'all.
Bye, guys.
We're having an all-night revival. Some call the women and some will steal the Bible. For the sake of my survival, baptize me in a bottle of bean for Johnny on the vinyl.